Hello. Testing. That's pretty loud.
Did David respond to your?
No, for the thing I sent out today, no.
I'm sure I can.
Brian was telling me that the planning commission would have to have a vote to have one of their members, and perhaps they already have and nobody volunteered. But they're thinking that the planning commission would have to take a vote and have one of their people delegated. And to my knowledge, that hasn't happened yet. Although I don't know if we've had a planning commission meeting yet this year. So I won't know that for a while. B sent out the agenda. I'll have to take a look to see if it's on there, but I haven't seen anything. I'll ask Lynn tomorrow. Nahid usually doesn't know, but Lynn would know. So we'll see how things go, you know.
So hold off on reaching out to Jose.
Yeah, there's most of the city.
That's what I am told. We now have a quorum. Okay.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir?
Me or him?
Yeah, which
Well,
way?
now I was looking at you, Mr. Maddox.
Oh, man.
How you doing?
Madden.
Madden. Oh, jeez.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm doing fine.
You doing good?
How about you?
I'm fine, thanks.
It's good.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah.
Captain's chair for you.
For the moment, probably.
Probably. We'll see.
I'm going to seek to get you a new nameplate.
Yeah. Put him in order tonight.
Because B will be probably ordering some here.
Sarah is not going to be
For some
coming,
new
so it's just the
Commission people on
Just
different
us?
commissions. So
Brian.
good time to
should
get
be
one.
here.
Sure.
Okay, does that create a problem?
If they
We don't
can't
have a
find the
quorum?
original.
Well, we
It's
do have a
weird that
quorum
it
of three.
We only have three
disappeared.
since
Yeah.
there's four of us, right?
Yeah, even if there were five, we'd still have a
So
quorum.
it's usually,
Cool.
But we got to get
Usually in
these
this-
seats still. We've got to get at least one seat.
but I always had one.
Yeah. Did you
Brian
find?
was telling me that the planning commission would have to
Wouldn't think somebody took it.
nominate and recommend one of their persons for planning commission. So if it's going to be,
I know the one night
Okay.
that it goes through.
I
them,
was
that
sitting
they
out there at
nominate.
a
I'm not
council
sure
meeting.
why, but
Did you find out anything about that guy Mark?
I looked
He's
at
he
Lou
lives
sitting
across the
there.
street from me who put in for the.
and he had
I haven't
my
heard a word.
nameplate in his spot.
and,
He just wanted to see if I'd notice it.
but
Oh.
I do know that the planning commission.
Playing games.
So how long
can
ago was that?
nominate someone.
Oh, that
It's
was
necessarily
quite a while ago.
Okay.
Okay,
Probably
Now,
So
I don't know how long
3,
you guys
4
were
years
elected.
ago.
You were appointed by the mayor
I was appointed by the mayor.
or all three of you?
I
Well, he's
he's
already
he's the council guy.
he's a council, so he does. So if the two of you did and Sarah did,
Yeah.
so all would have to happen is you would so six. The statute says six are appointed by the mayor, and
Right.
then one by planning commission, one planning commissioner.
Okay, so the planning commission appoints one,
Yes,
and a planning commissioner has to be on our commission.
right. And then the last one is that's 6, 7, 8. Who's the ninth one?
City council
A city council
Yeah.
person, right?
has to appoint.
Has to appoint
Another
a person. Oh, okay.
A city council person has to appoint. I didn't see that.
Let me
I thought it said planning commission.
City council has to vote on on a resident to be appointed
Okay.
outside
So that
of
wouldn't require the mayor's involvement. That would just be
council.
if we can find one more person, that Mark person or whomever, or if planning commission would make that nomination too. That can also happen.
One appointed by council, one member of council, and one member of the planning and design commission.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. They had recommended, Max told me that Marcus, one of our interns who's in high school,
Mhm.
as he is turning 18, was interested, and they were dead set on appointing him. He'd be great, but the problem is that he's still in high school, number one, and number two, he's probably going to be going to college in the fall.
Probably, yeah.
So I don't think he's going to school in the area. So he would only, that wouldn't be for long term. That wouldn't be ideal.
Right. Well, he's a real ambitious young man. He's also a member of the Historical Society, and he was tossing out amongst people when we were having our last elections that maybe he would run for president. And it's like, you have no clue what you're getting into.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Like
that's
of the United States.
I'm the president of the Historical Society.
Okay.
And if you knew anything about the Historical Society, it's you have to have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And he might. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I have seen it tested. He doesn't necessarily have a lot of patience.
So I mean, that would my God, he's got great qualifications. He's a wealth
he is
of knowledge.
bright. He astounds me all the time.
Yeah.
With what he does know.
Yes. He is really a unique person. When he told us he makes his own clothes, I was.
Oh, he does, and it's all vintage type
Yeah,
clothing.
for sure.
And yeah, that's pretty much all he wears.
You should see the stuff when he comes into work. You should see what he's. You think
No, I
he's
think
Glenn
he
Miller's.
he wears it down to Frostville too.
You think he's Glenn Miller's nephew or something?
Yes.
I mean, he's from that era.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, more Edwardian than anything, but yeah.
He likes the. I gave him a stack of records that my aunt had. My aunt was born in '37. She died about 20 years ago, but I think she left them to my uncle in Michigan. There was a stack of 78s, so a lot of it was more generic, but there were some good ones in there. I wasn't partying with any of the picture records because I have some of the 78 RPM picture records, and I was not partying with those because those are cool.
Yeah.
But I gave him a few, and a few have my aunt's names typed on it with scotch taped over.
Mm.
That was like she was 17, so that's like 1954.
Okay.
But and apparently he's got an old RC Victrola. I didn't know that. I thought that was kind of cool.
I think I heard him talking about that. Yeah.
He's looking for furniture currently to install in his house. And
Yeah, he goes up in the attic all the time and asks if he could have this and he could have that. Up in the
there was a
barn.
vintage. I had a vintage table. That was my original desk, but it was small. And so when Lynn gave up her old desk and she got a new one, she offered me. So I got a bigger table. But mine has the brass shoes on the bottom, the tapered legs with the brass shoes. And he said, "I can't believe you don't want that." I said, "It is pretty cool, but the unfortunate thing is the other desk is much bigger. And if you see my office, I'm just crammed in there. Me and Jeff are in there, crammed in there like sardines." So, anyways, we can have this discussion
Brian?
with our counsel, our legal counsel.
The answer is no.
Until you find out differently.
What are you talking about?
We need people.
Yeah.
Well, we got a really good mailing list of a lot of people that are very interested in saving the Butternut Ridge district.
Yes, and so they should all be good candidates, correct?
Yeah, we're frequently emailing a long list of people that are very passionate about their neighborhood.
They are.
I think we should create a flyer.
I think this
Could have
group-
some graphics on it, some photos.
I think Mary Ellen should be on the commission.
She
What are you doing?
she's never had much respect for the authority of the commission until it
served her to do it.
That was the one and only time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I got papers for everybody.
Oh, I know. I've been in meetings where she was pretty well trashing us.
Yeah. She was trashing you at the same time that she was asking
Oh, she was
you
trying to be really careful how she worded a lot of that.
Yeah, she
And
couldn't
she
help
didn't-
it. Because she wanted to make sure that all the people knew that she's there for them,
Right.
you know.
And yes, and an awful lot of those people are fans of the Landmarks Commission.
No, they're not fans. No.
Some of them are.
Oh, there are?
Some of the people are. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. For example, the Wileses. They
You
definitely
got
are.
everything? What are you missing?
And
all I have
also,
is
we
the
had
appropriate
one guy
certificate.
from that group that actually put in, or I don't know how what you would call it applied, but he said that he would be willing to be on the commission.
Thank you.
And I think they asked for a resume, and he sent them his LinkedIn stuff. And I don't know if it ever went any further. But you're right. There's a mix
Well-
in that group.
we believe that we have one new member for you.
I heard.
We discerned that the Planning and Design Commission is supposed to send you a member, just
they?
like City Council sent you a member.
Well, they nominate one person, and then one person is supposed to be already on it, so they do it twice.
Oh, so Planning Commission is supposed to
They-
find you a
they-
member,
they find a member.
and share a member.
And share a member.
Okay. Does City Council do the same? They share a member. Do they appoint a member?
Mark says no. Yes, but I looked on the ordinance and I didn't see that.
Okay.
Well, I'm not really seeing that the Planning and Design Commission appoints somebody. It says one must be a member of the Planning and Design Commission.
One must be a member.
Yeah, the remaining 3 members.
So could we just
It doesn't sound like Planning Commission should send 2,
Yeah, we
but
want,
I could look at it.
council is supposed to appoint one, as well as have one.
Well,
And
there you
the
go.
Council does that.
Is
but-
that in 165 or is that in the charter?
That is
Charter.
In the charter.
Section 5?
section
Okay.
5 of the count chart. Yeah,
All right.
We're about ready to start here.
we've got seconds
30
left.
seconds. Okay.
Well, if that's true, there's 3 more people.
Yeah.
But the council and the planning commission might have as much trouble finding people as we have.
They could.
They didn't have any trouble finding Mark. He drew the short straw when they were doling out assignments.
Okay, we are recording.
You forgot to step back when they asked for volunteers?
He blindsided me.
They ganged up on you.
Well, you can't say it hasn't been interesting.
It has been.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock.
It is 7 o'clock. So, good evening. It is Tuesday, Monday, January the 12th, 2026. This is the City of North Olmsted Landmarks Commission called to order. Mr. Holowicki, would you please call roll?
Mr. Neville,
I'm here.
Mr. Madden.
Here.
Miss Egan Reeves, Mr. Dabowski,
Here.
Miss Schuler. Okay, so we have 3. That is a quorum.
Okay, so Ms. Egan Reeves, you said was absent. She let you know that she would be. And
Yes.
Ms. Schuler, I heard that she is leaving the commission.
Yeah, from the email that we received, apparently she has been asked by the mayor to serve on a
On another
different
commission.
commission. That's all I know.
Okay.
So we're down to 4.
We're down to 4, and we have 3 here, so we have a quorum. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes of the last meeting?
Yeah.
Do we have corrections or comments?
No comments.
Then a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
And it's been seconded too. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. New business. Do we have the? I'm looking at the minutes and thinking they're the agenda, and I don't have the agenda in front of me. Here it is. Okay. The first order of business is election of president and vice president. Would somebody like to make an election for president of? Or, I'm sorry, it isn't president, it's chair and vice chair.
Oh. I need to strike that and make the
I did
correct
notice that and then I forgot.
chair and vice chair. I'm sorry.
Sure. So, would somebody like to make a motion for the 2026 chair? of Landmarks
I
Council?
will nominate David Neville for chairman, and I was going to nominate Sarah for vice chairman, but she's not here. I don't.
Can we still do it?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, then she's not here, so she can't say no.
Perfect.
See what happens when you don't show up.
Uh-huh. Would somebody
right.
like to
Then
second?
I will nominate Sarah for vice chairman.
Excellent choice. Would somebody like to second that?
I will second both of those.
Okay, then by that I suspect that since I'm in favor, we all are.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one order of new business here, 27082 Butternut Ridge Road. Would you please step to the podium, introduce yourself, and let us know what you got?
Hi, good evening. My name is James Doyle. I'm the owner, along with my wife, of the mentioned property. Thank you all for being here this evening. I'm proposing to.
I think he needs to state his address, doesn't he?
Sure.
Mhm.
The
You're
the
supposed
pro-
to state your address.
the property that for the project that I'm proposing is at 27082 Butternut Ridge Road. And it's here in North Olmsted. The owners are myself and my wife, Karen James Doyle. Excuse me. We are proposing to basically make an update with respect to the historic aspects of the home, to eliminate essentially a garage door that is facing the front of the street there. It's actually quite small. I don't think by any modern a standard modern car would not be able to fit into the area that the garage door as it currently is. So I was hoping to remove the garage door and eventually renovate the space on the inside. But first, I'd like to seal the exterior envelope and put 3 windows that are in the style, if not exactly the same as the existing windows that the house has. Understanding that it's been 100 years since really this home has been really altered very much. There's been an addition on the back, and then there's been an exterior, a freestanding garage in the back. So there already is a garage on the property, so it will still maintain that, the status of having that. So keeping the historic value and the look of this house is the absolute. I mean, it's the only thing that I really care about for this project. I mean, definitely making the space useful, and because it's currently just storing things since my wife and I have moved in there, which is not great to say, but that's really what I'd like to do. I currently am doing some glazing on the home. I don't want to put vinyl windows in, all that type of thing. I'm liking wood materials, just things that are traditional materials to match the style of the house. I'd like to do a sill below it, which is also pictured, which the rest of the windows on the house have a cement sill below it. I'd like to keep that, and the mutton part, the vertical muttons on the upper half of the split windows, I'd like to get as well. It's increasingly difficult to find windows of this design. There's a place in Westlake called B&K Windows, which actually can get the mutton bars on the interior of like a double pane window, which I think is pretty interesting. So I'm looking at maybe getting those and getting away from a Home Depot Pella window or something like that. So looking to get something a little bit more historic, I can hopefully satisfy that requirement.
Okay, thank you. I have a couple of questions. Well, you already answered one. You do intend to have the new windows be 3/1, like you have around the house. So the upper sash is going to have 3 panes,
Yes.
and the lower sash a single pane. And you are planning to try to have wood windows made for it.
That is the idea, yes.
Westside Lumber, by the way, will build those windows for you.
Sure, yeah.
You give them the dimensions, and they will build them.
Yep.
I'm president or vice president now of the Olmsted Historical Society, and we've had windows built by them. There are other places you can go as well.
Sure.
I can give you the name of somebody that I just learned about that does carpentry, reconstructive carpentry, who probably could do that as well. I just learned of somebody local. In fact, it's the son of the Wileses.
That would be wonderful. That would be very helpful. Very interested in that.
And okay, so you're planning to do 3 windows at the bottom and not try to just mirror the second floor 2 windows.
I don't think so. If you look at the last photo or one of the last pages that I have, I think is from. You can't really see it. So the last photo that I have is from the southwest. You can see the upper dormer of the home has like a 3-window section. So I kind of
Yes.
thought it would be kind of appropriate to mimic that style right there exactly.
Yeah, so kind of a left and right. Flip,
right.
Yeah.
And just to me, the space below it, it doesn't really lend itself to having 2 windows there. I think 3 fits much better in my opinion.
Okay. I'm a Virgo. I lean towards symmetry, but I don't mind that look.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I want to make an observation that that this is beyond the scope of your jurisdiction, and it may or may not be something that the applicant has considered or looked into. The certificate of appropriateness is an architectural review. It's not a building permit review as such. I believe that single-family residential houses are required to have a garage.
They are.
And I'm wondering if, and I also have seen occasions where converting a garage into livable space is not as easy as it sounds from a building code standpoint. So if this is no longer a garage, then this house will not meet.
Mr. O'Malley, it does have a 3-car garage behind the house.
Okay. Check. And then the rest of it is building code compliance with, there could be fire separation issues and.
Understood that that's all permit stuff, and of course we're looking at it architecturally.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Holowicki, yes.
So as part of the staff review, I had also concurred, first and foremost, that your sills and stoops would be matching to whatever you have existing,
That is
preferably stone. If that's what you have, you
Yes.
probably did have stone.
Yes.
The mutton and wood lintels is preferable. You do have on your submission, you have a Series 400 double hung,
Yes.
which is not concurrent with the drawings that you have, so
Yes.
that would need clarification.
Okay.
I do appreciate the thoroughness of your application. You are probably the most complete and ready of all of the applicants we've seen this year, so kudos to you there. And the garage also had come up too, but we had spoken on the phone that you do already have a
There's-
garage.
Yeah. Detached.
And just as a recommendation, I think this is a nice project. I think this would, there wouldn't be a reason to deny this.
There'll also be a flower bed in front of that, and some, that I'll make that look kind of nice. It's been a little while since I've updated the landscaping. That's the plan.
So what we have in front of us, well, I think now we do either Mr. O'Malley or Mr. Holowicki have anything further to say?
No.
I think now we need to discuss this among ourselves just a little bit. One thing I'm seeing here with the application is that we the last page does show a 400 series double hung window, which is not what the applicant just described to us. So we whatever we do needs to have that clarified. Also, it's not clear anywhere except for what the applicant described to us, which is fine. It's all on record that the intention is to have double hung windows with wood muntins. Whether they are faux muntins or whether they're going to be separate panes. Either one can work. I prefer separate panes myself, but it's not going to have the R factor.
Yes,
So-
understood. There's
And it looks as though maybe many of your windows have wooden storm windows.
they do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. It looked like there was a wooden storm window over the
That's
the-
correct. So
double
that kind
hung
of gives
window.
that separate plane and pane. So yeah, I mean that's really the number. Like the most important thing of this project is just to blend these windows, the new ones, into what the existing ones are.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is that we can consider this based on what the applicant has described to us, as long as the COA covers that, and if the applicant wants to make modifications because they have problems with any of it, then we can readdress that. But the COA, as we're going to issue it, would be as described.
So we're approving the windows. What goes on inside with the building department comes after. That's
Correct.
not our
That it's not our purview.
right.
Right, they will have to pull a permit, the applicant will have to pull a permit for whatever interior work they're going to be doing. Sounds like that's something they're planning to do down the road, that's fine. But it sounds like the applicant has given really good thought to what they want to do and how to maintain the historical integrity of the house while they're doing this. So, those are my comments. How about you guys?
I have no questions. I don't see a problem with it as long as what he has on here and it's matching up to the rest of the house. I see no problems.
Mr. Madden?
If I may address the
Yes, you may.
resident. You said you have spoken to that B&K, I believe you said
Yes,
was the name, and they did indicate they can.
they're able to take the glass that has
We can ask the
that has the dual pane, and they can put the muntins on the interior of it. In fact, which I thought was really neat. I didn't even know you were able to actually do that. But the faux muntins, like you're saying, is no problem to do, to get wood ones just to run up and down on the verticals. So they can be divided to look like separate planes or panes of glass, no problem. If it's up to me, I would absolutely love to find a window that can match this much better, that has a separate plane. I think that would look fantastic.
Well, they can be built.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do cost a little bit.
You're right, yeah.
It's not real cheap, but it is
Yeah.
it is real authentic.
And I mean, if it's going to be there for another 100 years, if this costs $5,000 for the windows, as much as I don't want to spend that, that's what it is.
Sure.
That's just what that is, So I don't know. So, yeah, not in a rush to do the interior at all. Sealing up the building is for sure it. I may need to get a structural permit. I'm not exactly sure. Just being that it was a garage door there, I don't really know how that works, but I'm assuming all that'll come next. So
I'm not positive either.
yeah, so.
More than likely, you'll be required by the building department to have a stamped architectural drawing. Being that, and it doesn't actually have to be, don't quote me on this, but I don't think you necessarily need an architect. There are many contractors who could easily build this out because structurally, you're not changing anything. You're merely building up from the sill plate to essentially the stool of the window. One question I do have is in reference to the size of the windows that are being proposed. Are they going to essentially, in terms of height at least, are they going to replicate the existing windows on
Yes.
other parts of the house?
Yes, the existing windows are 48 inches tall. I can I can submit this in writing as well if you'd like. They're 48 by 20, 28 and a half by 48 inches tall. And so like they should be slightly more rectangular than is actually pictured on the mock-up, but they'll look, I mean, that's, the shape of them is really what you're going to be seeing mostly, I think, from the road. So that's probably the biggest concern that I have.
And have you actually received a quote from B&K Windows?
No, I have not. That's why I wasn't able to include anything like that, or a more accurate printout or prototype of the window that I want to do. But I mean, I'm not. Yeah, they absolutely have to look like the existing windows. I wouldn't even attempt to do the project without doing it.
I should remark that for the town hall, we're actually having 4 windows replaced. And if you want, I can try to locate the name of that contractor. I do have it. I
Wonderful,
can
yeah.
email it to you.
Yeah. Also, the other fellow that you had mentioned.
I'll give you a phone number.
Terrific. That would be very much appreciated.
I haven't spoken to him about windows specifically.
I mean,
but
even
a historic carpenter. I mean, he does mortise and tenon. If he even wanted to go that way,
we have those doors, of course. You know, you know how they
Even
deal.
better.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
you observed that the 400 series is not accurate.
that is yes.
Is there an accurate term that would
Um,
be used?
I'm sorry. So when I printed out that example from that's a Pella. The other examples that they only had Munson bars that had like the crosses, and so I didn't include that just because it would be more distracting. Because you can easily get a vertical faux Munson bar put into these windows, no problem. But again, that would be a little bit less historically accurate to the the type of
And
window.
I think the commission will agree that clearly your intentions are on the money. And what we're attempting to do is make sure that the paperwork is clear when
Sure.
you're downstairs in the building department and they're reviewing a building permit application that is relying upon the certificate of occupancy. But I think
Appreciate
we're nearly there.
I believe so. And
Certificate of appropriateness.
and Mr. O'Malley, I believe I understand what you're getting at. What the certificate of appropriateness needs to clearly describe what the applicant is intending to do. So what we're talking about is, and I'm looking at this 400 series. It looks like the dimensions are very close to what you were giving us for this. So what we're looking at is what 29 by 44, 3/1, double hung windows.
I'd like it to be a little bit longer if I can find something like that. But yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I'm looking for. If I mean, I would entertain the idea of just putting 2 there as well. Aesthetically, I just for some reason thought that 3.
Well, I was
better.
going. If you were going down that route,
Mhm.
you might want to also duplicate the way the windows are framed. You
Sure.
see there's a space between them,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and if you were doing that, you just want to keep that consistent.
Sure.
If you're trying to reflect what's up in the dormer,
Yeah.
then that doesn't quite look like that. Those windows don't have that space between them.
Right. Those ones aren't quite as nice as the ones on the first floor.
Oh, wait, it does have that space, as a matter of fact. I'm looking at the last picture.
Yeah, I should have just taken a photo of that and
And again, then
cut
just
that
put-
out and
then
just put
pop
it right
that in
over there. That's what
Right.
we're gonna do.
Okay, so but we should describe this accurately in that you'll want 3 windows or 2 windows.
I would prefer to go 3.
Okay.
Do you want to interject?
No, that's for you.
That's for me.
Yeah, that's for you.
Well, I mean, in terms of staff, I think we staff report and kind of to be aligned with the commission, we want to all be on the same page. So, can we create that, or should we create that as a stipulation on the COA that he would be putting in? I think we're less concerned with the size as much as, we're looking at the drawing and we want, you're saying you want to do 3, but perhaps we should maintain consistency here, and on the COA, it should explicitly have that or expressly written out that it should be 3/1 with muttons.
Here's what I was describing over here. 3 windows, double hung, 3/1 with wooden muntins.
Okay.
And
The
the
separation.
same size as the existing windows.
Yes, that's a good way to say it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, as I'm looking at one of the photos that was provided here, if the applicant was thinking about 2 versus 3, the other windows on the ground floor, there's 2, but then they have the wood trim on the sides. I mean, just a thought. And I don't know which cost more, little shutters or windows. You might
Probably the windows, but
save by doing 2 instead of 3, and those shutters look fairly straightforward.
Yeah, they
Which
don't
ones are
look
you
very like they're very complicated. It's just 3 boards with
not at all. yeah.
backboards, and they're just screwed to the house. They're not true shutters. They're ornamental.
Yeah, that's certainly an option.
The problem is they're gonna be sitting on the ground, or not very far off the ground.
And the upstairs windows do not have those. The ones on the, I should say, the ones
Yeah.
on the dormer.
Both second story floor or windows don't have.
So if you want
Shutters.
to make it consistent with the first floor windows, it probably ought to have shutters.
Okay. I would be quite all right with doing 2 windows and shutters as opposed to the 3 as well. Like that
Well,
works for me too.
it sounds to me like
I know we need to be
and
consistent.
we'll make a vote. We'll make a motion and vote on this once we have decided exactly what we're voting on. But if you, I guess we would want to know whether it's going to be 3 or 2 for the COA. If you want to have time to think about that, we could talk about it next month, or if you're in a hurry, we can make a decision now.
I mean, yeah, I think I would prefer to do 3 windows. Just kind of how the dormer is up there. I feel like that would kind of aesthetically, I feel like it would actually balance the house out quite well.
From just measuring with kind of a rudimentary ruler here, it looks like I don't know if you used a software program for that, but it does look like your 2 window does match the top, so adding a third would be consistent with that. One question I do have further is the height from the sill plate to the bottom of the stool. Do you have any idea of how tall that or how high up that would be?
The pictured right now, from the bottom of the sill to the to grade would be around 36 inches.
Yeah, okay.
And do you know where that would put the top of the windows with respect to the floor,
It is
the
at
second story?
Yes, I believe it's 89 inches. Where is that drawing?
It'd be about 84 inches,
Yeah, I think that's exactly correct. I think it's 84.
which is about the height of an entry door.
Yep, that's that because that is the opening. Where is that drawing?
Okay, then that should still leave room for the header and all of that. Okay. All right, so we're going with 3 windows.
Yeah, and then the idea with that was to have them. I just think that the proportions with a 3 will match better in that space than it will the 2 because I can't put 2 windows there of the same size as the ones that up above there because they're just too tall.
Okay.
And-
So you're going to have to make them not as tall anyhow.
Yeah,
You have to
'cause-
make them match the dormer windows.
Yeah, then that space below the sill, if I were to use windows that were that height, would probably shrink down into the maybe 30-inch area, and that would be a little bit awkward for the front of a house, I would think. So I think that was the other my intention to 3. I hadn't even considered 2, but or I think I did consider 2, but that was the reason it was eliminated earlier.
Well, if it's not going to be symmetric anyhow, then I guess that takes away my sense that maybe they ought to be.
Mm-hmm. Because I do understand, and believe me, it would be less expensive for me to put 2 windows in.
For sure. Save you, especially if you're building them.
Yeah, I love windows and doors, believe me, but I'm sure after doing 1, would regret saying that.
Okay, it sounds like we have a plan, so would somebody kindly make a motion?
Not real sure how to word it.
Give it a shot.
hmm?
I think I might have it. If you want me to propose it.
Either one of you can.
Okay. So we'll make a motion that the resident can modify the COA to 3 double hung windows, 3/1 with muntins, wood frames, and a window sill under the entirety of the 3 windows with shutters, which will closely match the existing windows of the house.
May I add that they be wooden muntins? The reason I'm saying that is that I want to differentiate between that and grills, because the dimensional appearance of grills is completely different.
May I add, it sounded like the applicant preferred the 3 windows without the shutters.
Right.
Without shutters.
Without shutters.
That's yes.
Right. If we're not doing just the 2 windows, then it might look awkward anyhow. So
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
we can scratch the shutters.
So give another.
Let's start over again. Okay.
So I've got the 3 double hung windows, 3/1, with wooden muntins, a wooden frame, and the window sill under the length of the 3 windows to closely match the existing windows.
Okay.
And it's for a second.
It's been moved and seconded. All
I'll
in favor?
second it.
Go ahead. Yeah, I thought you did second it. Sorry, Tom. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in
No, I
favor?
think we're good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, so the only other, we don't have any old business. Communications.
There might be a shelf life on that certificate. You might want to check with the building department. Because I noticed that you may be in your process of pulling the building permits. Check and see how if you have to come back here and get it renewed, like after a year or something. If your timetable for building is extended. Okay.
So the process is, once I type up the COA, I send it to Mr. Neville. He signs it, usually get it within a day, and it immediately goes into our system, and it gets referred back to the building department and assigned to a permit clerk, and then you have 12 months for the permit. Well, you should apply for the permit right away. Actually, you have your contractor apply for it on your behalf. Okay. And then you have 12 months for the install. So you've got time. I mean, it's not 8 to 10 weeks is typical to manufacture a window. No window is somewhere in stock. I'm told this by window companies. When you order it, then they make the window. All window companies do that. After, or unless you sell the house, then the next owner, of course, would have, the COA would not be necessarily transferable, but you would have 12 months to have your windows done and installed.
Thank you.
Mr. Doyle, do you want to hang on till I can give you that information right after this meeting? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, sure.
If you hang around much longer, you'll be sitting up there on the board.
Yeah, we might be asking you if you want to become part of the commission.
Yeah, you should spread the gospel to the rest of your neighbors.
Looks like a guy that knows a thing or two about construction.
Well, he does.
Yeah.
He definitely studied this. Okay.
And I checked on that charter provision, and it's not that. So there's 9 members, 6 appointed by the mayor. The remaining 3 as follows: 1 appointed by council, 1 member of council, and 1 member of the Planning and Design Commission. So Mark is the council member. So council has another appointment if they can find one. And then we got to remind Planning and Design Commission that they have to send somebody. And if they nominate Mr. Leon, since he lives in the district and may have an interest.
I think that would be a good fit.
So I don't know if the council has an arsenal of people that, you know, send their resume in and express an interest in, you know, volunteering, or if the mayor has extra people that are in that category that you could share with council. But
Could that member appointed by council, it doesn't have to be a council, it could be anybody.
correct.
Correct.
So it could be,
And if the council knows somebody, they can appoint somebody.
it could viably be that your neighbor across the street that you had mentioned.
It could be, and I could give you that information. I have to just dig through my emails real quick. I'll take care
So
of
if there's any people that are interested, they could send in their information to both the mayor and to the council, because the mayor has spots to fill as well.
The individual that expressed their interest sent their information into, oh gosh, what's her name?
Lynn.
Lynn, yes.
So there are also qualifications that come into play.
Sure.
One appointee, these are as to the mayor's 6. One appointee having a demonstrated special interest, experience, or knowledge in history, architecture, or related disciplines. The council's appointee shall be a resident of the city. At least 4 of the 6 that the mayor appoints shall be residents of the city. The remaining 2 of the mayor's 6 shall be preservation-related professionals who reside in the city if available, but if not, they can go outside of the community. So finding those preservation-related people is hard, and meeting that qualification.
Sure. Now, the individual who, now I have to confess, I've met this person, but I don't know him. But I do know that he has a degree in architecture,
Okay,
and I don't know.
and he lives in the city.
And he lives in the city.
Check,
He
check.
lives in the district.
Perfect.
So yeah, he just retired from working at Google for 30 years.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know what an architect does for Google, but it must be something.
Wow. Designs buildings.
Yeah, right.
That's fantastic.
So anyhow, I can Steve, after this meeting, and I get Mr. Doyle taken care of. I'll find that email and share it with you.
Okay, very good.
All right. Any further communications?
The town hall is under construction.
I saw the lift out there
Yeah, there's,
and the dumpster.
that is a project that was approved by Landmark, so
Yes.
that is just an update for you guys. They're working on the inside, they're working on the exterior. The weather has sort of put a tight constraint on the exterior repointing, but we're trying to get quotes to do replacement sconces to match the original that would have been on the front of the building. The front doors are already ordered. 4 windows to replace to match 4 of the very, very badly deteriorated windows are on order. The roof is on order. Gutters, downspouts. So
Wow. Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. O'Malley.
I would suggest that you have a grand opening and a ribbon cutting, and
Well, we should.
or actually suggest it to the mayor, because she's in charge and she's good at things like that.
Well, right.
Offer to plan it for her.
Okay, that sounds fair.
Yeah.
I really do think there should be a something celebrating that. I think that there was some plan to have that become part of the 250th celebration or whatever.
That's a great idea.
we'll have the exterior done. We won't have the inside done, but we'll have at least the exterior completed.
Okay.
It'll look real nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
The sandstone, we're going back to sandstone steps on the
good.
corner where the ramp was removed. That's being rebuilt with a new, what they call a cheek wall. Sometimes they call it a wing wall. with sandstone caps and sandstone steps. So it's gonna look nice. It's being repainted. All the trim work is being repainted.
The cupola survive, or did you have to replace that?
There's a little bit of trim on the cupola, and one of the gutter boards is badly deteriorated. So the painters they've quoted us to replace those materials as needed. So
It's fantastic.
That sounds great.
Mr. Chair, I think the commission is well served by Steve, and I don't think that improvement would have been happening without his influence and grant writing skills. It was it was desperately needed.
Yeah, it did. It did. The city has been kicking this around for a very long time, and it's good to see it really happen.
I'm gonna take a picture, Steve, and hang it on the wall again. 250 years from now, somebody will
right.
be wanting to know, well, who was that guy?
Yeah, responsible for
guy?
the restoration and rehabilitation of the.
Right.
they can look
town
back
hall.
and say a town hall project killed him.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Well, wait a minute. We're not talking about a headstone in the cemetery. We're
Right.
talking about a plaque.
And David, if we get you in the right outfit and black and white picture, we could backfill some of the history.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure we can get Marcus to make an outfit.
There's a very good architectural assessment that was done in 2014 that I can forward to the commission. We have that on the record. They really documented a lot of stuff, and there's some great history on the building, but the architectural assessment that was done this year, or rather at the beginning of 2025, is extremely thorough. We used Hardline's design out of Columbus, and they just did a fantastic job.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, we have one more piece of business this evening. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
Can I make one other?
Oh, sure.
The next time we're ordering nameplates, could I get a nameplate? Mine has disappeared.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, he searched all under here. Can't find it anywhere.
Went through all of these under here.
Well, I bet you that these are printed in-house. Wouldn't surprise me if they are. And the answer is yes.
It might be here. There's your name. There's Michael. Neil.
That's a pile there. I don't know.
Is it?
Okay.
That pile there, I don't know why there's so many.
There's probably, all the different commissions have them, so.
Probably misplaced, but certainly track it down or get another.
Make another one, yeah. All right,
Gold plated.
all right.
All right. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
7:40.